more insight, more understanding. This is Fox 23 News in Depth with Rick Maranon.
Over the last 24 to 48 hours, at my direction, the Oklahoma Highway Patrol and the Oklahoma Department of Transportation have launched a coordinated operation to clear homeless encampments in and around the Tulsa area. In accordance with state law, state troopers and ODOT have began giving notices to homeless individuals to vacate the illegal encampments.
We aren't doing top stories tonight because the top story is what we need to go in depth on. Right now in the city of Tulsa, Operation SAFE is underway, and SAFE is an acronym for Swift Actions for Families Everywhere. Governor Kevin Stitt says the city of Tulsa is taking way too long to fix homelessness. We'll have the mayor's response coming up shortly. Full transparency here, and you may have seen it in that first video. You'll see some stutters or shudders of body movements in some of the governor's statements. Those are not our video edits. That is how the governor's office released information to the public. For much of the day, there has been heavy action, mostly from what we can tell around the downtown Tulsa and IDL areas, to clear out homeless encampments. The homeless have been given a choice: get help now or go to jail.
Our state troopers will offer the homeless two clear choices: a ride to a treatment or housing facility, or a ride to jail to face prosecution if they refuse help and they continue to break the law. And if troopers encounter illegal aliens during the operation, they will be detained and transferred to ICE custody for deportation proceedings.
Now this video right here, what you're looking at, is video from the governor's office of one of the large encampments that was cleared out today. We don't know the exact location, but in the background there is clearly a highway. What you are seeing is the same story that has played out in multiple parts of Tulsa last night and today, and will likely continue into the weekend. The Highway Patrol only has jurisdiction on rights-of-ways, highways themselves, and underpasses in state buildings, and that is where much of the focus has been today. The camps are being cleared out to remove and are removed shortly after the person is told to pick treatment or jail. Now, as of 1 o'clock, the Tulsa County Sheriff's Office says no one has been brought to their jail by troopers as part of Operation SAFE. It is believed many of those confronted at the encampments told troopers they would seek mental health or housing options. Because of those people being close to and agreeing to seek treatment, to homeless services in the northwest corner of the downtown Tulsa is where we have found them, like at the John 3:16 mission, the Salvation Army Center of Hope, and the Tulsa Day Center for the Homeless. They were swamped with more people than usual. All downtown shelters are at capacity, if not more. While she was assessing the situation, our Paris Rain found a man whose dog was shot by state troopers this morning while they were clearing his camp. The dog is okay and alive at the vet.
They didn't care, no cares in the world. It was just about getting us removed from off of the property to where I went under the bridge, and when they got done with our spot, they went straight under the bridge and told us we had to move, and then I asked them again, and they told me no, that they couldn't help me at all. That ain't no way to just be in this world. That is not okay. You can't do that. What if it was your child? That's my life. My dog is my life. That dog saved me, you know? That dog saved me from something traumatic, and so I felt like I had to give her the world. And if I couldn't give her the world, I know somebody would.
The Highway Patrol says the dog was aggressive towards troopers who came up on the scene to ask those in the camp to clear it out. The man says his dog was protecting him from strangers as he slept. I would read you Tulsa Mayor Monroe Nichols' statement about Operation SAFE, except it sounds very familiar to something he said on this very program just a couple of weeks ago. He says he is implementing things to address homelessness, but he did just take office. So we'll just replay that interview instead, and you will hear him in his own words. He said a lot of things about you, blamed you for crime and homelessness, and I was wondering if you had a response to any of that.
Yeah, well, let me just state up front, crime's down in every category. So let's just talk about data. I won't get into it with the governor too much. We'll talk about data. Crime down in every category, even from last year to this year. And so if the governor wants to make this about the policy of the city was different last year as related to tribes and everything else. Crime's down this year from last year. So that's number one. I think number two, I served with the governor for 6 years when I was in the legislature. So a two-term governor. In 2023, you go check your own record, don't take my word for it, got rid of the Interagency Council on Homelessness. Said at the time, we won't be building houses for folks. Had no interest in housing people. So he did that, not me, this is Governor Stitt. 2024, vetoed the bill that would have increased pension benefits for law enforcement. somebody who supports police officers, vetoed that bill. The legislature had to override it. And one of, I think, 50 some odd that we did that year when I was in the legislature. So I'm not going to listen to the criticism of somebody who spent his career saying what we're not going to do to support people who are in house, because we're dealing with the impact of that. We are, Oklahoma City is, place all across the state dealing with that impact. I'm also not going to be lectured by somebody who showed what he thinks about folks who have served in law enforcement their entire careers. And so what we can talk about, what I would love to talk to the governor about, is how the state wants to partner with us and address the issues that we see here. I've been mayor for 8 months. He's been governor for 7 years. So if we think about who truly has shown a disinterest in dealing with the issues facing Oklahomans, I think his record's longer than mine is. And today, this week, we're going to be talking about moving money to house 300 folks and provide them the supports they need, because we inherited a problem that has been here for a long time, and we're working with people at every level of government who want to be part of the solution, all across this community who want to be part of the solution. It would be nice if we had a governor who was one of those folks who want to be part of the solution.
The Mental Health Association of Oklahoma released this statement. It is one of the biggest nonprofits helping the homeless in Tulsa. And they released this statement. This is from CEO Carrie Blumert. Quote, "As a street outreach and housing service provider in the Tulsa area, we are extremely concerned by Governor Stitt's Operation Safe program that does nothing to address the root cause of homelessness. Each day our outreach teams engage with Oklahomans experiencing homelessness and work tirelessly to get them into housing, connected with health care, and find supportive community. Using highway patrol to clear encampments will not only traumatize Oklahomans trying to survive out in the elements, but it does nothing to increase our supply of affordable housing and supportive resources. At the time when the Oklahoma Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services has cut over $40 million in critical mental health care services, Oklahomans desperately need more resources from our state government to address the root causes of homelessness, not push the issue to another street corner because we think it looks ugly." At the end of his message, the governor left a vague threat of more and harsher action against the city of Tulsa to combat homelessness should he feel Operation Safe wasn't working as he hopes.
I've heard the outcry from Tulsa businesses, families, and community leaders, and we're going to act. But make no mistake about it, this responsibility falls first on the city, and the city will need to take a serious look at their current policies and emphasize enforcement first. If the city refuses to do their job, then we will be forced to pursue extraordinary measures to do it for them. This is not my preferred outcome.
Now, while Stitt did not have specifics, we should know what is happening across state lines in Louisiana. Republican Governor Jeff Landry used the same lines about out-of-control crime and homelessness in his new pleas to President Trump to send in the National Guard to police the streets of Shreveport and New Orleans, like Trump did in Washington, D.C. While New Orleans has a Democratic mayor like Tulsa, Shreveport has a Republican mayor who was elected with heavy Democratic support. The dynamics in play are similar to what we are seeing here in Tulsa. Trump says he's happy to help Landry and is seriously thinking about sending in the Guard. Last week, Tulsa City Councilors approved of a new ordinance to crack down on one key point the governor made, panhandling. It hasn't taken effect yet because it's still on Tulsa Mayor Monroe Nichols' desk for final approval.
I'm very worried about their safety. I'm very concerned that we would allow them to continue to stand on a very narrow median and be exposed to the dangers that come through high-rate traffic flow.
The ordinance creates a $150 fine for sitting, standing, or lying down in a median or sidewalk less than 18 inches from a road. This applies to roads where the speed limit is more than 25 miles per hour. Supporters say it was about safety for both the drivers and the panhandlers. Opponents say it singles out area homeless during their primary way of making a buck or two to find something to eat. Panhandling has been at the center of free speech lawsuits before, and there have been some legal groups threatening to take action before this becomes law. One person outright celebrating Operation Safe is Norman area Republican State Senator Lisa Standridge. She sent out a statement today begging the governor to carry out similar operations in Norman. What Standridge hopes is that you have forgotten all about a bill that she wrote last spring that would have in fact pushed more homeless people into the city of Tulsa.
This bill in no way closes shelters. This bill in no way restricts cities from building shelters. It just simply says they shall be away from places where children will congregate. And that is, again, a constituent request.
That was Standridge defending her bill that did not survive the last legislative session. Her bill would have kept homeless shelters more than 3,000 feet away from schools, except when it comes to the cities of Oklahoma City and Tulsa. Nonprofits and even churches in smaller communities who help the homeless said if the bill became law, they would have no choice but to relocate the homeless into Tulsa and Oklahoma City for mental health assistance and to help them get out of poverty, because 3,000 feet is a lot in a small town. Keep in mind, sex offenders only have to be 2,000 feet away from a school, 1,000 feet less than would have been required of homeless shelters.